Hello, hello. Welcome to the community of AI for teens. I'm very excited to kick off this tutorial because today you'll be learning a very creative use case of generative AI. You'll be learning how to create stylized photos of any person living or dead. We'll be editing and remixing existing pictures of people and make it so amazing that you would not believe your eyes. And you can do the same for your own images, for your friends, family, maybe even a celebrity. All you need is a couple of high quality images of a person, and you can get started. In fact, I did this last week with my friend. His daughter was turning one, first birthday, very special moment. So I created some very cool, amazing pictures of her using AI. And it almost looked like those pictures were shot in a high end studio. But they were, of course, not. They were all AI generated, and my friend was really surprised. So that's the really special part about generative AI. Earlier, if you needed to edit or remix images, you would need to learn a very complex tool like Photoshop and then spend hours and hours learning different kind of techniques in it. And then finally, you'll be able to do it well. But today, you don't need to learn all of that. All you need to know is how to write a really good prompt and tell AI what you want to achieve, and AI will do the rest. And this also brings up the point that expressing yourself and articulating your ideas and thoughts very clearly will now become one of the most important skills, especially for teenagers in the AI world, because AI can do pretty much anything for you. You need to have a creative vision and you need to be able to express that creative vision to the AI, and that will become a very important skill for every teenager. So make sure you start learning that. All right, enough talking. Let's get to creating. All right, let me first introduce you to my elder brother, Nishant. And I have some really amazing pictures of him. He's a handsome man. And as you can see, I have a couple of pictures that I can use of him with face close up. These are the images that I'm going to be editing and remixing, and I'm going to I'm going to show you three concepts today. The first one will be of an ad image like this, where he's standing in front of a logo and with a tiger sitting in his feet. The second concept, and this is an ad image, and the second concept is going to be more of a surreal, unrealistic CGI effect type of a concept where you can, of course, see that this is not a real photo, right? But it looks very realistic. So that's the second concept. And then the third one is the motion blur, where it looks like the camera was moving and the image captured has this motion blur effect. And this would otherwise require a very expensive camera, but we can do this with a simple prompt. And I have a bonus prompt as well that I'll show you at the end. So let's first begin with the Dior ad that we are going to recreate. And I have a prompt here that I want to show you. And I'll also quickly tell you some of the important components of this prompt so that you understand how this is working. So as you can see, it says ultra realistic high fashion editorial photography featuring the man from the attached images. Do not alter his face, maintain face likability at 99%. Now, this is very important to mention so that it does not alter the face. And you will find that I have copied the same sentence in every prompt wherever I am trying to copy my brother's face likeliness onto the image. So then the prompt further says he stands confidently in front of an oversized Dior logo, embodying quiet power and refined elegance. He's Now we are explaining in the prompt how he's dressed. Then finally, in the next paragraph, you will see we are explaining where the tiger is positioned and what does the tiger look like. So you can see a majestic white tiger lies gracefully at his feet, putting one paw on the man's foot to gently gain his attention, adding a surreal yet regal touch to the frame. And then we are explaining what the background looks like. Then we are explaining how the shot is being taken, how it is photographed, what sort of style does the photograph need to have. And then we are also explaining what sort of camera equipment is being used to capture this picture. and then what is the overall aesthetic of the image that we are trying to go for. And what you will find that these elements remain constant, in the sense you would need to explain all of these components in every prompt where you are trying to create something very unique. So for example, so essentially, if I repeat, you will need to explain what the subject is doing. How is it, like, is the person standing, sitting, lying down? What are they wearing? How are they dressed? Then you need to explain if there is any other let's say element in the photograph. In this case, there's a tiger, so we have also explained about the tiger. And then we explain what the background looks like behind the subject. That is going to be a constant element that we need to explain. And then also, how is it photographed, and what camera or equipment is being used, and what sort of frame, or let's say from what distance is it being photographed. All of those nuances also needs to be added into every prompt. And then finally, aesthetic, which is to give an overall appearance of what would the final image look like. That is what we are explaining here in this overall prompt. Now I'll just copy this, and we are going to be using two platforms today, two tools. One is Google Gemini, because it gives you a lot of free bandwidth to play around and generate different kind of images. And then second is Perplexity. I have a pro account of Perplexity, so I can generate a lot of images here as well. Both are good tools, and both are free. That is the good part. So we can get started with them. Now I'll just copy and paste that prompt here. And what I'll do is I'll probably bring about 3 or 4 close-up shots of my brother as attachments in this, along with this prompt. And the same thing I'm going to, okay, I'm going to run this prompt, and I'm going to do the same thing in Perplexity. And submit it. Let's see what it's going to generate. As you can see, it has come up with a very interesting picture, and you can see the tiger keeping its paw on his shoes. Looks very cute, and there's a Dior logo being featured in the background. If I want to change that and replace it with Chanel's logo, or Gucci, or any other luxurious brand, I can do that very easily just by changing the words in the prompt. So as you can see, this is how simple it is to generate these kind of stylized photos today. Let's see what Perplexity is giving us. It's still loading. Didn't work as expected. It showed a hand with a tiger paw. No, we were not going for that. I'll regenerate it. Let's see if it comes with a better option. But in the meantime, let's move forward to the next one. Okay, now in the second one, we are showing the person to be sitting on a crocodile head, and there's a sea, but it is not really sea. It is still solid, and it extends till infinity. Something unrealistic, of course, but looks very amazing. So let's take this prompt and try it out. I'm going to go to Google Gemini. I'm going to open a new window. And why I do that is because I don't want the context of the previous generation, or the previous image that I generated, or the previous prompt that I gave it to meddle with this new generation. So I want it to be a fresh generation. And that's why I'm switching to a new window. Now I'm going to drag the pictures here, and I'm going to hit the submit button. Let's look at, it's still generating the old one. Okay, did well, though his face isn't looking really great. The lighting is, or the mood is a little down, it seems like, because of his face. But let's move forward. Not very great generation, but the first Gemini one was good enough, so I'll not dig too much into this. Okay, let's try the second one. Let's see. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's see what Google has. Oh, interesting. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Looks very cool. Now we can, in fact, if you want to play around with it, you can make crocodile even larger. That makes it more surreal. You can change this phone to some other kind of product if you want to make it into an ad image. All sorts of editing and remixing can be done further just by altering the prompt. And here, let's see what it gives us. Not bad at all. But the crocodile didn't turn out to be exactly how we were thinking. But what it did was it showed the reflection of the crocodile, which is an additional element. I think this wasn't there in. Oh, it was. It was there. It was but the suit looks a bit different, but still a good generation for sure. So nice. Second prompt worked really well as well, and you should go through the prompt and see how we have added different elements, what the person is wearing, to where the camera is positioned, to how we are showing that this mirror like reflective surface that extends infinitely beneath him. So this is also a very interesting thing that we brought into the prompt. So go study this prompt, and all of these prompts will be available in our community of AI for Teens. So visit ai4teens.club and sign up for free, and you will get all the prompts right there. I have documents attached and uploaded there in the community. Okay, let's go to the third one where we are trying to replicate the motion blur. Okay, so there are multiple motion blur effects that you can go for. This is what we are trying to generate here. I have a prompt here. And again, as you can see, we have the similar elements that we have added here. What is the subject doing? What is he wearing? What does the lighting looks like? What is the expression on the face of the person? How is it shot? From what sort of camera? Or what the shallow depth of field? What is the overall mood and aesthetic of the image that we are going for? So, as I said earlier, you will have to add these elements to make it as specific as possible, because the more specific you are with your prompt, the better your generation would be. So let's try this prompt now. I'm going to go to Gemini, open a fresh window, paste the prompt, and upload the pictures. And let's go. Okay, here as well in Perplexity, new window, and drag and drop, and hit send. Let's see. Very interesting. Looks very, very real. Very, very real. Almost looks like it was shot through an expensive camera or somehow. Let's look at Perplexity. Okay. Seems like Perplexity is in a Halloween mood, but very good generation indeed. Let's go for this. So this is also a good generation. I can download these images and keep them for use later on. So far we did three prompts and all turned out really well. Let me show you the last one that I have. In this prompt, the concept that we are trying to use is showing an oversized chess horse piece sitting with the person or the subject. And why it makes for an interesting photo is because usually the chess pieces are of miniature sizes. They are not as big as shown in the picture here, unless they have been expertly crafted for that purpose to showcase somewhere, which is usually not the case. So that's why this image or this concept looks very interesting. Similarly, if you think about the miniature concept, right, where you're showing the miniature version of a large object or a person or somebody, that is also a very interesting concept. So both oversized version or the miniature version. Both of those concepts are very unique concepts that you can incorporate in different kind of images that you're using. So this is also on a similar pattern. And as you can see, the structure of the prompt is again very similar to how it was earlier for the previous prompts. Here again, we are explaining it should be a cinematic portrait, and we explained a little bit about the scene here. Then we are also explaining what the person is wearing, what the lighting looks like, what sort of camera is being used, and it also mentions, for example, waist up composition. So it is not explicitly mentioning that don't take the full pose of the person or the subject, only use waist up composition. And then style, what sort of style it needs to use. Again, study these prompts. This is what really makes everything powerful. If you understand how to express or use the right keywords, right sentences in your prompt, you are going to get the most amazing results that you are trying to go for. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed these. I would not run this last prompt. I would let you do that. You can find these prompts in our community of AI for Teens. Go visit ai14s.club and sign up for the free community. You will get all the prompts there. I would also drop the link in the comments. And then you can also try this prompt yourself, and then whatever generations you get, share it with me in the comments in the community. I would love to take a look. That's it for now. I'll see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.